Well, what else could we look for with a true ambassador for Christ? How about ministries that are loved? I'm thinking maybe a Joel Osteen. I mean, you can't help but like that guy. He's got a nice smile, and every time I've heard him, he always encourages me. He's a great motivational speaker. He's he's really encouraging and makes me feel good. Maybe a Billy Graham, someone that's really loved. Maybe a Charles Stanley or something like that. I've had a lot of people tell me they really like Charles Stanley. Someone that's really liked, really loved. That's what you would look for as a true ambassador for Christ. Well, Jesus comes along in Luke 21 and verse 17 and says, "And you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake." Question, is Billy Graham hated? Is Joel Osteen hated? Is Charles Stanley hated? Is your minister hated? Are you hated? Jesus says, "You shall be hated of all men for my name's sake," if you're a true ambassador for Christ. So Jesus comes along and just blows this concept out of the water. Totally out of the water. Well, what else could we look for? What else? We're trying to find a true representative of Christ. We're trying to find someone that really represents Jesus, His gospel, His message. What do we look for? How about the money? Follow the money trail. Is God blessing them? Maybe that's what you would look for. It takes $4 million a month to saturate the U.S. on TV. Yeah. Someone's got to get, so if you see TV ministries that are on TV continuously, someone's feeding them $4 million a month to stay on TV. That's a lot of money. A lot of money. Okay, that's what it takes, $4 million a month. So maybe you'd look at the money. Well, look at all the money they have. God must be blessing them. I mean, they built the gym. They've got the church with the ping pong table and bowling alleys and the exercise center. And they've got, God's blessing them. They got all this money. That's what you'd look for, right? Well, in Revelation 3 and verse 17, Jesus says this. He said, "Because you say," and this is the message to the 7 churches that still applies to us today. You just got to know where you fit. "Because you say, I am rich and increase with goods and have need of nothing, and you don't know that you are wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked." So Jesus comes along and just blows this concept out of the water, that you would look at the money, that you would look and you would assume, oh, God's blessing them, and that must be right because they got all this money. No, Jesus says you can be rich and increase with goods and have need of nothing and still be miserable, poor, blind, and naked and wretched inside. You can be a miserable, blind, naked, wretched church, but you got all this money coming in. Okay, so Jesus comes along and just blows this concept totally out of the water.
Is that really in the Bible? What you think is in the Bible is not.